Hello, it's Alpha here, and we are back with some more Supreme Arena teams that I've been using this week. And once again, I have kind of two different versions of the team. So one uses a little bit more of the Celestial Hypergen heroes, and then the other one is kind of like a free-to-play version of the team. So for my first team, I'm currently using a Graveborn Shemira team. And then we have Pandora, so that Shemira can ultimate quickly, and then the last hero is Athalia. Yeah, and I've noticed that a lot of people are using similar teams on map 1 currently. Instead of Athalia, I would say that quite often people are using either Daemon or Twins or Siren, for example. And the reason why I'm using Athalia in this team is that when I'm fighting someone, quite often I'm behind at least like 10 to 20 resonance level. And because of that, if we are both using a similar kind of like Shemira Pandora team, then I'm pretty much automatically always going to lose. Now, it doesn't really matter that much if I'm using Daemon or Twins here instead of like Athalia. It doesn't help me enough to win the fight. The only thing that can kind of like help me win the fight in this mirror match would be something with a very powerful effect. So maybe like Dunlinger could help me so that the enemy Shemira can't ultimate quickly and I can ultimate with my Shemira quickly. Or something like Athalia, where the hope is that once my Athalia ultimates, she will kill the enemy Shemira, and then after that they don't really have any more like threats left in the team, and then our Shemira can clean up the fight. So if you want to use this kind of Shemira Pandora team on this map 1, you should either, in my opinion, use something like Athalia so that you can win that way, or you should be the one who has the higher resonance level and higher paracord level. But if you don't have either one of those two, then I would probably not recommend using this team on the map 1 because you're just going to lose with it. Now I do have another version of this team without Athalia on the free-to-play, and I'll show that a little bit later, but yeah, so that's just my thoughts on the map 1. Then on the map 2, I'm running my Bonnie Satrana team with Igor as the stall hero, and then I have Dunninger so that the enemies can't ultimate quickly, so that our debuffs have enough time to spread into the enemy team. And this team is the one that was like performing best for me. But then earlier today, I was actually getting a few losses with this team. Now, maybe it's because they have like higher paragons or whatever, I don't exactly know. But what I noticed is that if the enemy team has Lily May and Siren, then this team can sometimes lose because Lily May seems to be able to kill the Grim Executioner quite quickly if you have the Executioner in this position right here. And then afterwards, if Siren is able to ultimate, he can sometimes kill your Igor if the Siren doesn't die fast enough. So recently I changed into his position instead, and I don't know if it's better, but at least I was able to win a couple of fights afterwards, and it seems to be doing well. So yeah, this is the placement that I'm using right now. If you don't have Thoran, you could probably use Daemon instead, or Callan could also work instead of Thoran. And then if you don't have Dunninger, I'm not like 100% sure how well it will work in that situation, but you could try replacing Dunninger with Talene, for example, but then you would probably change up the positioning of the team a little bit because you want to give the pyre from Talene to your Igor. So then you would like frontline Talene and place Igor behind her. Or then if you have like Zany, she could also work with this team. So yeah, those are probably some of the heroes that I would try. Yeah, and then the last team that I've been using is this Siren Taylor team that uses also like Tassi and Talene. The idea is just that it has some burst damage from Siren and Lily May, and then you have some store damage from Tassi and Talene. Yeah, and then these are some other team ideas that I would maybe try if I had interest, for example. Now, it doesn't have to be the map 1. You could try this same team on the map 3, for example. But maybe the map 1 comes a bit more as a surprise because some of the tiles are hidden. I don't actually know how well Indris does against the Shemira team, but it's something that I would try maybe first attacking with this team, and then if it seems to work, then I would use it on defense as well. Yeah, and then if I had Perseus and maybe I didn't have some of the other heroes, then you could definitely try something like these kind of teams with Perseus. Once again, it doesn't have to be on map 2. These could also work on the other maps as well. Yeah, so those were the teams that I'm using on my other account, and this is on my fully free-to-play account. Once again, we are using the Shemira Pandora team on the map 1, but like I said, we can't just use like the typical team, so we are bringing some more firepower by using Bonnie in here and Satrana in here. Now, if you don't have Satrana or you want to use her on some other team, you could try using Niru instead of Satrana, and then the placement would be something like this. And also because Niru is a Graveborn hero, then you don't necessarily have to use Ludovic anymore in this team. If you have some other healers like Velara, for example, then you could use her in this team and then use Ludovic on some other team. Now, this second team is kind of like throwaway team a little bit, especially if you don't have Athalia or Igor, then I don't know what you're supposed to be playing in this one. My focus for my free-to-play has been on the team number 1 and team number 3, so just kind of use whatever you have here. If you do have Athalia and Igor, then I would try using them here because they have some nice synergy on this map. But once again, if the enemy actually has Siren in this map, then it might not work because Siren might kill your Igor, but it might work as well. If you are not using Ludovic on your map 1, you could move Ludovic into here. And then if you're also not using Satrana in your map 1, you could move your Satrana in here as well. So something like this. And then on the last team, once again, we are using pretty much the same team. But instead of Talene, if you don't have Talene, you could just use Ulmus, for example. So that's what I've been using on my free-to-play. And yeah, this has been also able to win against some teams that have like 20 resonance level higher team. Also, if you do have Pang and you didn't use Satrana on one of the earlier maps, you could try something like this. Instead of Brian, you could also use Lily May or Aaron, I guess, but maybe I would prefer using Brian in this one. But yeah, that was a quick look into the themes that I'm using right now on my accounts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!